Okay, welcome to the project. I want to get to After Effects as soon as possible, so beforehand, I just have a very small amount of preparation I want to do with you. For that, I'm going to grab my laptop, and I'm just going to open up a text document. All we need to do is figure out 3 skills or services that we provide. So for mine, I'm going to do design as my first, animation as my second, and then illustration as my third. Then we need to know our names. And then the next thing we need to do is figure out a palette. I love color, and I think I know what I like and what looks good, but often I have a hard time choosing specific colors for my palettes. So what I like to do is go to a website called coolers.co, and here they actually generate random palettes for you. So I'm just going to go through and click spacebar a couple times and see if anything catches my eye. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, so here already we've got a great palette, I think. It's got some nice blues, a nice off-white, a great yellow, and that feels like a really good foundation for what I want to make. So what I'm going to do is just take a screenshot of this palette and save that to my desktop for later. And we are just about ready to go. One piece of preparation that you can do that I'm not going to do is actually draw myself beforehand. Later on, we're going to be creating illustrations and animations of characters that we feel best represent us. It can be a drawing of you, or it could be a drawing of an animal that feels like you, whatever you want to do. It could be a monster. I don't care. It's just going to be a little character. I'm going to just illustrate that as I go later. If you want to do a little preparation beforehand and draw yourself out, I highly recommend that. To keep in mind that mine will end up looking like this. So if you want to keep it at that level of complexity, that would be a good place to start. I think we're all set to go. I'm going to head on over to my desk and we can start working in After Effects. All right, now that we have a clear plan of what we're doing, what we're making, we can actually open up After Effects. So once you have After Effects open, you can select New Project, and you should see a window that looks like this. If yours looks different, it might be in a different arrangement. You can simply go to Window, Workspace, and then select Defaults, so ours look exactly the same. Before we dig in, I want to highlight a few key areas we should know about. Starting at the top left, we have our toolbar. If you've used Adobe software before, a few of these will be very familiar to you, but if any look foreign, don't worry. We won't even need more than these 5. And I will explain them all as we need later on. Below your tools is your project window. Here is where you can find and organize all your imported files and compositions. And to the right is our composition window, also known as our stage. And we can think of this kind of as our monitor. It's where we're going to be viewing all the work we create. Directly below that is our timeline, where we actually create and animate layers. Now that we have our bearings, let's create our very first composition and kick things off. Because we have a new project, you can select the New Composition button, but at any time you can make new compositions with this button, or in the top menus, selecting Composition and going to New Composition. Okay, and now we are hit with our composition settings. And after renaming our composition text, we're going to go ahead and match all the other settings to mine. And I'll just go down and explain a couple of these. We'll be changing our frame rate, making sure it's at 24, mainly just because it's a nice number to work with. And if we have to do any math later on, 24 is a very easy number to work with. And lastly, we're going to set the duration for our composition. The way these numbers are organized, it might look a little weird, but it's by hour, minute, second, and then the frame number. So I'm going to set this to 10 seconds. Because I don't think we're going to need any more than that. We're going to hit OK. Okay, now that we've got our composition all set up, in the next lesson we can talk about layers and add our first elements to our scene.